This is West Ham Unofficial. Come on, your eyes. Finally, we've got the international football out of the way. Premier League football and club football in the Premier League is back this weekend. So we're here with a big talk about football season 2, episode 4. It's 4 episodes already. If James, you West Ham fans, Spurs fans, even you, John, if you've got bored over the international break, we're not going to be bored over the next 22 days, James, because we played 7 games in the next 22 days, which is a game every 3 days. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Firstly, James, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Very well. I'm in the same boat as you. So glad the internationals are over. Let's get back to the real football now.
There we go. And we are joined by former Premier League striker himself, John Williams, who is, fortunately or unfortunately, a Spurs fan. John, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Jake. Yeah, as I said, I've made a vow to myself. Unless it's an important competition that we're in as a nation, I just can't watch. It's too painful. So I just, I switch my telly off and I watch something on Amazon Prime, or just, anticipate who we got. Tottenham in the next games and stuff like that, and it's nice to see us at the top and Arsenal at the bottom, so I'm well happy.
Let's just talk about that for a second before we get into England. James, whether it's you or Mike who co-host the show, we have a little game. Is anybody tonight coming on that is above us in the league? We've got 2 Spurs fans tonight, which is dreadfully backfired on us, our game this week.
I know, mate. I know. But you know how it is. They start off fast and end up slipping away. So, yeah, I mean, normal service will resume on Saturday evening.
It certainly will. John, how do you feel to possibly be the first fan this season to beat us in our game and to be above West Ham in the league?
Oh, well, it's never in doubt. I'm very pleased that, we've sort of come out the blocks. And as I said, it seems Nuno seemed to have tightened up the defence, and, the usual characters are scoring, Son. So, excuse me. I can't really complain. I'm very happy at the moment. As I said, it's a long season. No one's ever won the league after 3 or 4 games. So let's see how the rest of the season pans out.
Are you shocked? Are you shocked, though, John, that Kane's still there, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not shocked. In my opinion, I wanted him to go. As much as I love him and I think he's great for us, but it's if he wants to go and achieve other things, I mean, I look at it in the last couple of seasons, what he's actually done. Whether it was forced by the people above or him being selfish. The Champions League against Liverpool, the bloke was injured for 4 months. How can you come back in such a high intensity game? I don't care who you are, if you've not played for 4 months, how can you come straight back in the team and try and win the Champions League? But, he was non-existent, and he's done the same thing in the Carabao Cup. So, as I said, he's done well. He's a top player. I've got nothing but 110% respect. But if he doesn't want to be at Spurs, where's he going to fit in? That's what you got to ask. Is he going to go to Man City and drop deep and take space from, De Bruyne? Is he going to go to Man United? Who knows? I do think Spurs is the ideal team for him because that's where he's made his name. But it'd be hard to see where else he's going to fit in.
Yeah. Let's see who's in the chat. Good evening to everybody in the chat tonight. The Flying Postman, James and Jay. What more could you want on a Thursday? dull evening. Well, it is a dull evening in September. What more could you want? Jay Woods is in it. Well, Jay Woods buzzing for Saturday. Hopefully Antonio will find that again. Hopefully he will. Gary says evening, let's wait until the weekend. Hopefully we can do it. Yeah, hopefully we can. Right then, our game's going to backfire on us even more now, because we are now joined by Sean. Sean, I believe were you the first winner of our little game we played to be the first club above us in the Premier League?
Were we the first by minutes? I don't know. First after the game day, probably, weren't we?
Unfortunately. Right then, this is like a 2v2 face-off here, James. We've got 2 Spurs and 2 West Ham separating the screen.
I know, mate. I know.
Let's get up this. There we go.
Look at the smile on their faces. Look, they're loving life.
Oh, they are. Let's see who else is in the chat. Kent is in as well. Here's a question for you, John. Would Kane have been a good partner for you up front, John?
Absolutely. I'd have done all the running. He'd have scored all the goals. So, yeah, he'd have been an absolute perfect foil for me. He's a top super talent. As I said, I don't know him personally, but what I've seen and, his goals, goal scoring record counts for itself. But, yeah, playing up front with someone like that, he'll just slip me through, with my pace. I'd either pull the ball for him to tap it in or, score myself.
Yeah. Right then, before we get into the club side of things, let's just talk about the England game, or the England games, I should say. On a whole, James, what have you made of England's international break? 3 games, we haven't lost, but I would have thought it could have been a bit more positive.
No, it was a good. It's been like last night was just gutting. Really, that was the most dominant team in the game and ended up drawing the game. But in the grand scheme of things, this exciting time for England. Like, as the lads will say, like, it's the first time ever that I've seen England look like they can go and win a tournament. Like, we've looked at it before with the golden generation many years ago, but there was always something not there. But now I can see a team where it's strong in every department. From like, I think the only department that we're not really strong in is goalkeeper. I think Pickford can be up and down, but left back, right back, centre halves, and going up to the front, we've got world class players in our team, all throughout our team. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking promising.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really complain, Sean. 9 goals scored, 1 goal conceded. What did you make of it on a whole? 4-0 versus Andorra, 4-0, 4-0 v Hungary. A disappointing late equaliser from Poland last night, but you can't really complain, can you?
No, I think we did well in like half an hour spells. I think against Hungary, I think it was a pretty quiet start, and second half we looked pretty good. Sort of overrun them a little bit. Against Andorra, the opposition was poor, and we sort of put out the B team a little bit, didn't we? And it did look a bit disjointed. And even against Andorra, it's hard to judge these players that come in when you put them all together. If you brought 1 or 2 of them in, you know what I mean, then you'd get a better gist of how good they are, whether they can push for a spot. But even against Andorra, I thought we sort of pushed it around a bit, but we didn't take them apart until we brought the big guns on, basically. That's what I'm saying. I think Grealish, Kane, was it Mount come on with about 20 minutes to go or something like that? I think it was Grealish and Kane, someone else. And then the level just upped. But last night, obviously we'll take the points total. What was it, 7 points from 3 games we got? 7 points. I think last night, Poland just come to bully us a little bit. There was a bit of a war rather than a football game. Like the ref was strange. He'd like give a soft free kick 1 minute. Next thing he let everything go. Because of the ref like that, I think Grealish looked a little bit silly going down too easy at times. Whether he was kicked or not, they didn't show the replays, but because he was going down every other minute crying for a free kick, it just looked a bit daft. But yeah, I think whether the ref had control of it, I'm not sure. But it was like a bit reminding me of an old school sort of international, maybe in the 90s, where you go somewhere and they're going to kick lumps out of you. Poland knew that the team are not in great form. The manager's under pressure. Yeah, I actually enjoyed last night's game, even though there wasn't loads of great football. It just reminded me of a throwback. And obviously, the pundits make me laugh because they moan about Kane dropping off. He does drop off too much deep sometimes looking for the ball. well, we need him in the box. We need him in the box. He found 5 yards of space, 35 yards out, and next thing, Nelson in the bottom corner. So, how would you want it? Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we'd have took a point away. I think we've got 4 games left in the group. I think the next game's Andorra away and Hungary at home. That's only about 3 weeks ago, by the way, in case you didn't know. So we're back
it is, yeah.
So yeah, with 4 games to go, Andorra away next. We probably only need 2 wins realistically. So yeah, we'll take it and move on.
Before I come to you, John, James, let's set a like target. Obviously, it's a longer show tonight than perhaps normal. Only 14 people watching currently. We have 11 likes. What we're going for, James? We're going big, small, in the middle.
We will go 20 likes at the start, and once we get to that, I'll set a new target for you.
There we go. So hit that like button. I've no idea what I've got a highlight in my hand, but anyway, John, what have you made of England's international break on a whole?
Well, it's sort of like after the Lord Mayor show, really, for me. During the Euros, they got the whole nation up, got us excited. You know, they played absolutely phenomenal, but it just sort of, as I said, look at the opposition. You know, you can only sort of beat what's put in front of you. But I didn't watch the game last night. I don't even know who scored. I was like, all I remember in my head was, Lewandowski plays for them. And I was thinking, what formation? And we seem to have adopted that, the 2 holding midfielders role at this moment in time. And, it worked for us in the Euros. We're going with that. But we've got an abundance of talent on that bench. And I just think, you know what, it's an international. Why can't we play our best players and open teams up and, defend as well? But we just seem to be more defensive than we are attack-minded.
Yeah. Straight question now, just before we go into West Ham and Spurs. Yes or no, firstly to you, James, is Southgate the man for the job going into the World Cup to win us a major trophy?
I think you've got to give him this. I think he's earned the right to be the England manager for the World Cup. I think getting to the final, I know he didn't get over the line, but Italy, people will understand Italy are a well-organised, well-marshaled team. They've got a great manager in Mancini. They're no mugs. And we lost on penalties. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the next tournament, the World Cup, will decide it for me. If we go there and we get to a final and we lose again, it might be time for someone who's a bit more, who can get us over the line. Do you know what I mean? But I think he deserves this tournament for sure. Yeah.
Sean, is Southgate the man for the job?
Oh, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword, this one, because for starters, I think they got lucky with Southgate. I don't trust the FA to pick a good replacement. I think everyone moaned that Southgate got the job because he was in their sort of circle of coaches, wasn't he, at the time? He under 21's coach stepped up. I think his contract runs to after the World Cup, so he's guaranteed the World Cup unless he gets sacked, and he's not going to get that. If I'm being honest, because I think that once he qualifies, I think they're talking about renewing it. I would like him to take us to the World Cup. The World Cup's going to be far tougher than the Euros because it's in Qatar. It's in the heat. I think European countries in general don't travel well to the South Americans. Do you know what I mean? When there's a bit of heat, the European sides don't traditionally do so well. I would like, he's not going to do it, but I would like him to walk away after the World Cup no matter what. I agree with John a little bit. We've got an abundance of young talent at the moment. I think we've got more young talent coming through. The problem is I don't know who'd replace him. I don't think the FA would have a clue, but I think that we just need to play. We've got the players that are playing more expansive football now. We play a bit of possession based, but it's not very exciting possession based. I think we've got the players there now. Like we said, John said about 2 holder midfielders. They're not really 2 holders. They're 2 runners. That's what they are. Do you know what I mean? They're both good players, but they're in the team because they both can hassle and chase and run when we lose the ball. So then when we've got the ball, we probably lack an extra creative midfielder. So then all the pressure then on Mason Mount. So yeah, I would like him to have the World Cup. It's going to be a tough World Cup for us. I wouldn't expect everyone to get their hopes up too much, but then I just like someone who's got a little bit more knowledge on playing better football. I think the simple terms are. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got the players there. We've got the players there. Like, he's left Greenwood out of this last squad for Bamford, and that says it all to me. Do you know what I mean? Bamford's a 1990s throwback footballer. He's done well. Do you know what I mean? He's Greenwood. There's talk on some places he's the best finisher our country has. So get him in. He's young. He's exciting. He's lightning. He can finish. Why isn't he in the squad? We've got 3 games. Where is he? So yes, he's going to have the World Cup, but I just think he plays it safe, doesn't he? He plays it a bit safe, maybe a little bit cagey, a bit boring. Even last night, we're 1-0 up. They chucked on 5 subs. It's 80th, 85th minute. I'm thinking, right, make a few changes. Maybe even go to a back 3. Put Cody on. Change a right back. Put Henderson on. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of just see the game out. And next thing you know, it's the 88th minute, and they're bombarding our box, and we caved. So yeah, give him the World Cup, but I just don't trust the FA to get anyone.
Yeah, but is he damned though, Sean? Is he damned if he does, and if he damned that he doesn't? Like, if he sets up, goes out all that attack, and starts conceding loads of goals, then everyone will say that he defensively. England defensively are very, very good. I must admit, it's the best I've seen England defensively for a hell of a long time, right? But I think if Pep Guardiola was England manager and he was doing that sort of thing, no one would be criticising him as much. But because it's Gareth Southgate, I think everyone's quite easy to jump on the bandwagon. Like in the last 2 tournaments, he's got us to a semi-final and a final. Like, and before that, we hadn't been anywhere near a semi-final for many years, since 1990, I believe, or even 1996 in the Euros. But I just feel that he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. Really, do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. It's a tricky one, because even though I said about the subs, he's really good to listen to. When he talks, you can't help like him, and he talks a lot of sense. So when he was asked about the subs, he said, if you put subs on as 30 seconds to the injury time, he said no one was struggling, we're in control, blah blah blah. So he makes a good case for it, and we got a knack of getting these results, like in the Euros, and I think we had 2 or 3 good performances in the Euros, a few other stuttering ones. Because he likes these runners when we lose the ball. Our defence has got a good record. I'm not 100% sure if we've got brilliant defenders. I think the unit just works, and I think that is a lot to do with Rice and Phillips in front. When we lose the ball, they're all over chasing. Like John Stones, I don't even think he's in the Man City team again this year at the moment. But he's always been in and out at Man City, in and out. He's got a rick in him. There's no pace centre back. That's the case they make for Trent not getting in at right back, because they need Walker's pace to cover the 2 slower centre halves. So I can see your point that Southgate, he's making a good unit there. If we go too expansive, we could be too open. Next thing you know, our defence looks terrible. Do you know what I mean? If you took Phillips out, because I think probably Rice is probably just ahead of him picking the team. If you take Phillips out, you're losing a runner. What would you do? Maybe you'd move. They're on about Bellingham coming in, or if you move Grealish inside, they're not going to track back nowhere near with the same work rate. Next thing you know, we've got 2-on-1 on Stones. Do you know what I mean? So he is doing a good job. I just wonder if there's someone out there, and I don't know who could just get a few of these more exciting youngsters in the side. That's all. Maybe a Bellingham, maybe Greenwood should be there now. Foden's coming back. That we have to be the best of Foden in an England shirt. These players, and whether they're all like around 20 and younger, so there's plenty of time. So I just wonder whether Southgate's had 3-4 years, maybe it's time for someone else just to then take the next group on. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah. John, coming to you to finish off the England discussion. Is Southgate the man for the job for you, or would you like to see someone else come in?
If I put my hand on my heart, I actually think he is. Listening to the fors and against, I'm actually thinking, well, hold on. If he's that bad, look what he's done. A semi-final and a final in the Euros. We've been way off it for so long. And yes, there's an abundance of talents coming through. And fortunately for Gareth, he knows what he's doing. He's done it with the 21s, and now he's in a higher position to do it with the so-called elite of that group. Yes, he's been given a chance, but we as fans, we demand the best. We want to win everything, especially like when England play. We'll get excited. We'll go out and we don't look and think, well, hold on, what has the opposition got? What makes them different than what we've got? You look at it like a Belgium. They're meant to be the best thing since sliced bread for the last 10 years. And what have they won? When have they ever got to a semi-final? When have they ever got to the final? Yeah, I think they got to the final in 2018.
Semi-final. They got to. Yeah. They lost to France.
But as I said, I do actually think Gareth's the man for the job. His tactical awareness is good. He's very articulate. He's good with the press, and I think he's good with the players to an extent.
Yeah.
I don't like what he's doing to Trent. Playing in the midfield, so that puts another midfielder who should be playing there. It's embarrassing. You don't put a right back who's never played midfield in his life in midfield just to play him in a game. You should play him in his proper position. And I understand Kyle Walker's quick and he protects the other two who are ball players, Harry Maguire and John Stones. But it feels like to me we're playing 6 at the back at times, and it's not, most teams play with one holding. Chelsea play with Kante holding, yeah. France play with one, and they've got the other ones to go and express themselves. They've won the World Cup, they've won the Euros with that style. We've adopted our own style, and yes, I embrace it. But to me, I just still think we're too defensive. And you look at what we've got going forward. We've got, Luke Shaw. He's like a young Cafu at the minute. He's just up and down. He's scoring goals. He's creating goals. He's absolutely sensational. And yes, if he's going forward, I understand Kyle Walker's got to stay back to protect the other two. But surely the centre halves that we've got in this country who've got a little bit of pace and can't get exposed every time, or don't need that much protection. So, as I said, they are at the top clubs and they are the best players, but they've got no pace. And that's the major problem that he needs to fix.
Yeah.
Look at the midfield. There's no midfield in the world that has got the amount of talent that we've got, in my view. We've got such a mixture of talent. Mount, Grealish, Sterling, we've got Declan Rice, we've got Calvin Phillips, Sacco. We've got all different flavours. We've got so many different ingredients to a midfield. Most countries won't have that.
Definitely. Let's take some comments and then we will move on into Spurs and West Ham. Evening, Mark. Hope you are well. Don't worry, John. Tony Gill would have slid in with a great tackle. Evening, Simon. Here we go. Breaking news. What about this, James? Sky Sports have ruled Deya's spin out as dangerous driving and therefore disqualified him from yesterday's go-karting race. Therefore, Jake won the race. What do you think about that, James?
It's great news. I can't wait to tell Deya.
on my behalf, when I'm sleeping tonight at 2 a.m. when he's on talking about whatever, you make sure you tell him that Simon said that.
I will do. I'll say there's been a steward's inquiry and they've said that dangerous driving don't get you wins.
Yeah. Gary says who got a goal of the month? Antonio's goal versus Leicester, where he got the ball turned, put it into the corner, while West Ham's goal of the month. Andy's in. Hope you're well, Andy. Evening, munching on minted lamb kebabs. Just finished work for the week. There you go. I'm starting school for one day, and then Southampton away. Looking forward to it. Let's scroll down, take some comments. And Gary says, "How is Rice only worth 80 million? Can't work it out." Listen, if you listen to one place, they'll say 120, one will say 200, one will say 60, one will say 100. I don't know, you don't know, no one knows. All the comments have skipped, there we go. How Antonio can't make the England squad is crazy. I think he gives a different dimension that Gareth Southgate probably hasn't looked into. I think off the bench, if we're 1-0 down after 70 minutes in the World Cup, I thought he could have been a weapon, but Kent says that Southgate could be a victim of his own success. He should have chosen when he's earned that. Gaza, hope you are well. Gaza, Tony as well. Evening, gents. Congratulations on your win. Thank you very much. Right then, James. Anything you'd like to ask our Spurs faithful before we talk about their game on Saturday?
How impressed have you been with Nuno coming in this season?
Well, it looks like he's tightened up the defence. Very much adopted a counter-attacking style of play, which Mourinho did, and he's just enhanced it by tightening up the defence. I mean, I'm sure we gave Aurier a free transfer after paying such a big fee for him. That was a bit of a shock. I was like, wow, okay. I don't know whether his contract was up or they paid him up to get rid of him. But yeah, I think Ndombele will be the next one to go because I don't think Nuno fancies him. But in all fairness, I'm a big fan of his because I think he adds something different to the midfield. But apart from that, Sissoko's gone. He's building a new team in his own style, and I just hope we don't end up looking like them guys in the West Midlands with the funny accents in the Black Country. I just don't, I hope we just don't turn out to be Portugal's B team.
Yeah. Sean, how impressive have you been with Nuno?
Well, it's not just Nuno. It's Paratici as the technical director. So he's come in working with Steve Hitch. They apparently have been mates for years, but he's the Juve. He's like the guru in charge of the Juve the last 11 years. So he's come in. So Spurs have adopted this like head coach working with the technical director sort of approach. So they've built the team together, blah, blah, blah. Aurier had 6 months left on his deal, so he was off on a free in the summer. And he's been playing for that for about 18 months now. He's been given noise he wanted to go. As for Nuno himself as a coach, the main standout difference is we are a million times fitter. We've got energy to burn. I think I've said this on your show before, Jake. It was said when Ollie went into United. It was said when Mason took over from Jose at Tottenham. Jose leaves an unfit squad. He doesn't concentrate on the fitness and the hard work nowhere near enough anymore. So Nuno's gone in. The noise from the squad's really good. He's got players running their socks off. I also think, I don't want to dig out Jose too much. He's got his record speaks for himself, but I don't think Jose's ever a friend of the squad. He doesn't install confidence in many. I think that's why you've seen Eric Dyer look like a terrible player last season, the season before. I think Eric Dyer is up for nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month. Davinson Sanchez alongside him has looked awesome, hasn't put a foot wrong. But what stands out, we're sort of playing counter-attack football, but we're not sitting back doing it. We're not like Jose. We're not parking the bus and then pouncing. So we're running around flat out. The work rate's there. Most wouldn't believe that Dele Alli has been transformed. He's in the 3 games we've played. He's run more kilometres than any player on the pitch. Now that's not the sort of player you think Dele Alli is. So he's sort of installed this little bit of confidence. He's had a lot of rubbish to deal with, like is Kane going? The press wouldn't leave him alone. He's got more challenges again this week, which we might come on to. But I like him. He's only been there a while. He's saying all the right things. But the bare minimum as football fans we want is our players that look like they care and they're trying. Do you know what I mean? The likes of Tanguy and Ndombele, he's got no interest to be fit enough to be a Premier League footballer. No one can tell me he is. He's been at top. He's a record sign. I think he was 52 million. And everyone said he was class. I didn't know a lot about him, to be quite truthful. He's been in London now for just over 2 seasons, and he's completed 90 minutes in the Premier League 8 times. And that was under coaches that probably didn't demand the levels of fitness as high as Nuno does. So, yeah, I agree. He will be probably the next one out. We won't get the money for him. He's on 200 grand a week. We're not going to find the club easy to take that on. So we'll probably see him going in like some sort of Paratici will be sorting some swap deal in Italy or something. That's where he'd be off to. But Nuno's doing fine. We're top of the league, so.
Yeah, not for long once we beat Southampton. Anyway, Sean and John, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Hey, cheers. See ya.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Right then, before we get into discussing West Ham, let's take some comments. What did Jake Quinn? Yes, it's breaking news, Randy. If you scroll up the chat a little bit, Sky Sports have ruled Day of Spin Out at the track was dangerous driving. Therefore, he was disqualified from yesterday's go-karting race. Therefore, I won. There he's going in team there with the Daya emoji, which, funny enough, you can use if you're a channel member. Click the join button if you'd like to become a channel member. You know, helps the channel out massively, and it will be greatly appreciated. Jay Wood says Spurs should have sold Kane. It's an effort for him to show up and play. His mind's on City. He's jealous. Grealish got the move. Yeah, kind of agree. Yes, Randy. Right then, it's time to talk West Ham. Let's get into it. Shall we make this a panel of West Ham fans, James?
Yes, indeed so, mate. Yes, indeed.
Let's start off with the illness-ridden West Ham Online. Firstly, how are you?
I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling all right.
Good. And we are joined first time on the show all the way over in New Zealand. It's currently 6:30 in the morning over there. Andy, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Nice to be along with you.
Thank you very much for coming on. Let's right then. We will start off. We will start off with the international break. I mean, last night it was quite eventful, wasn't it, James? We had all three of our checkmates. Yarmolenko 4-0 scored a goal. Declan Rice played well. The West Ham international break went quite well. We look like there's no injuries.
Nah, we all look good. I see a training video today. Zoom is at Rush Green. And so is Al Ben Rama, and all the rest of them will be probably there late tomorrow. If not today, they might have arrived later on. Yeah, it was good. And this is what it is. This is what we asked for many years ago when we arrived at the London Stadium. World-class team with a world-class stadium. And we're getting there slowly.
Yeah. West Ham Online, how good was it to see Pablo Fornals get on the score sheet for Spain last night?
Yeah, it was good to see. It was encouraging to see our players performing well at the highest level for one of the most successful countries ever. And we had players starting for England, France, Spain, three of the best countries in the world. And so it's really encouraging to see. And it just proves the direction we're going in, and that people are starting to recognise how good our players have been. Yeah,
definitely. Andy, we'll just we will focus in on Declan Rice. He seems to have really done really well for England. Of course, we've got the checkmates as well. Overall, a good international break, but you know, all of the players are coming back now. How good is it to see no injuries come back, and now full focus on Southampton at the weekend?
Yeah, that's always the thing that I look for. You know, international breaking, people breaking down sometimes in training, sometimes in a game. I mean, Declan's just a wonderful, wonderful player, and he's still so young. You know, the number of caps he's got now, obviously, he's probably going to break Bobby Charlton's record. He's going to get more than 100. Just a fantastic player, and I just hope we hold on to him for a little bit longer. You know, beyond the end of the season, if they do a deal, give him more money. I don't know. We just got to get the best out of him this season, and play him as much as we can, and hopefully he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, certainly. Andy, tell the people watching how you became a West Ham fan. Obviously now living over there in New Zealand.
Oh, mate, it started a long time for me. 1980, 79, 80, someone gave me a ticket to the North Bank, and I remember getting carried from front to back when we scored a goal, and that did it for me. Queued up for a quarter-final ticket, Villa. Ray Stewart scored the penalty, and from then on, yeah, I've been a West Ham fan for must be just over 40 years now. So moved from North Bank to East Air Napa, kind of retired to East Air Napa, I guess, if you if you call it that. Been to the stadium a couple of times, so it's not too bad. The thing about the stadium is it's all about the configuration. You know, those lower tiers, it's great if you're down there close to the pitch, but if you're up with the gods, it's a long way back. So if they can dig their hands in their pockets and change things around. So yeah, for me, 40 years supporting West Ham, we've got a decent supporters club over here. We're up to about 260 members. Been over here since the 70s. Large presence up in Auckland, but we're all over the country. You know, we've got members down in Christchurch. We've got over in Hawke's Bay. Here in Wellington, where I am, there's quite a few, and we get together for games. But the bugger is it's 2 o'clock in the morning for us. So, you know, getting up, being committed, and watching the game. You know, we might be as far as you can be from England, but we're still committed and we're still getting up to watch games. So, yeah, good.
Love it. One thing that came to my attention, West Ham Online, I'm going to come to your favourite Twitter account on Twitter, West Ham Central, put out today, and I found it quite interesting. I've just had to go through all his spam today, and he's talked about Andrei Yarmolenko, saying more respect needed. He said we may well be in the Championship instead of the Europa League if Yarmolenko didn't score that not legendary goal, but magic goal against Chelsea back in July. I just want to touch on that. How crucial and how right do you think Central's been, and do you think Yarmolenko is going to be crucial for us this season?
I don't think Yarmolenko is a crucial player, but he's a piece of squad depth, and he's someone that I think we need a little bit. But I don't think it was right what people were saying yesterday, celebrating his injury. I thought that was a bit out of order, to be fair. But let's be honest, he's not a great player, but I think in Europe he'll do quite well because let's be honest, before he came to us, his reputation was brilliant. So he was good in the Euros as well. So I think he'll do okay in the Europa League.
Yeah, hopefully. James, we saw our major signings land and seeing for the first time the magical Porter cabins at Rush Green. How nice is it to see Kurt Zouma and Nikola Vlasic arrive at West Ham, and what you expected for them if they get on the pitch against Southampton on Saturday?
Well, Zouma, you know exactly what you're going to get with that man. He's going to bring pace at the back. He's going to be a solid defender. He's going to well marshal. Like, he don't go and play for France if you're no good. Like, he's a good player. I think Vlasic, it's going to be interesting with him. I'm on the fence with this man at the minute. I've seen things that he's very, very good. Now I need to see it in a West Ham shirt. Right? But that's a 50-50 one with me. But Zouma, I can't fault the man. I think he's going to take us to another level defensively. And I hope, and I see him talking to Diop today, I hope that he worked with Diop. And I can see that being the future. Diop and Zouma at the back. French and solid pairing. And when Obona's time has to come to an end.
Yeah. Andy, we saw Mikel Antonio come back, and how good is it seeing Mikel Antonio to come back unscathed? Were you nervous when he went off to play for Jamaica? You thought, he's gone literally the length of the globe to play one 90-minute game, which Jamaica got thrashed, let's be honest, and it's a huge sigh of relief in the last couple of hours to see on West Ham social media that he's back, he's on the training field, and he hasn't pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, for now. He generally doesn't last the season. Those hamstrings of his, they cause him problems time and time again. So we just got to try and keep him fit. But I'd like to see someone coming in the January window. You know, I know we're on the market for replacements and backup squad members all over the place, and I think we got some decent players in there. But I do think we need to bring someone in the January window, someone to support him up front, because we can play that Moyes style, with one up top and three in behind, or sometimes two in behind. But if he needs to switch formation and play two up front, he's playing with non-strikers. He's playing with attacking midfielders. Love to see someone get converted into a striker. Maybe Vlasic is is the one. We know Formels is good on the ball. All our players are good on the ball. It's just, having just one established striker, and he does bang them in. He's scoring more currently than he has done before. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take some comments this season in the chat. Roy, hope you are well. Pace and Pals, what he brings. Kent says, I don't think much of Yarmolenko, but I will never be happy to see one of our players injured. Zuma must come in on Saturday if possible. I completely agree. Peach is in the house. Hope you are well, Peach. Roy says, all we need to do is get behind the new signings, and I think we will do well. West Ham Online, would you agree?
Yeah. I think we can do well, even barring the signings. The signings are a bonus, and what it means is we can do well in more competitions, because now we have a bit more of the ability to be flexible in Europe and in the Premier League. If we've got a game on the Saturday and then we've got a game on the Wednesday, or a game on the Sunday, Wednesday, sorry, we can play Benrahma in one, Vlasic in another, for example. And it just means that people get rested. It means that we're able to rotate without getting any weaker, really, because I think Vlasic is at a similar level to the three that we have, and behind Antonio. So yeah, I think that's good. I think it provides competition as well, and it keeps everyone performing at a high standard and not thinking that their starting place is a certainty, basically.
Yeah, let's take some more comments. Right then, question in. Jay Wood says, guys, do you think Areola will be introduced on Saturday? Fabianski wasn't great against Palace. James, to you first. Areola to come in for Fabianski on Saturday?
He's got to play, mate. He's got to play. Like, this man is... Fab's been great, yeah. I understand the West Ham fan base about loyalty and all that. I get it. But Areola's a class above. He's a top keeper. You don't go and play for PSG and Real Madrid if you're rubbish. And I use that as a stepping stone. Like Fab's been great, but there's been little errors and little kicking things where he's getting the ball out. It's just no good. It's all over the place. And I think I remember he kicked the ball out against Palace and to Benteke, and it went straight on for an attack. Areola needs to come in, mate, and I know Areola is going to play against Zagreb. I believe that is what it's going to be, but it should be the other way around. It should be Fabianski in Europe and Areola in the Prem for me.
Yeah, and also James has got a channel. I've put the link in the chat, J Hustle TV. If you can go over and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Andy, would you chuck Areola in over Fabianski against Southampton?
Yeah, as I say, I mean, he's a class player. He's a Paris Saint-Germain player, though. So he's been on loan for like 5 or 6 years, and he's a season here, season here. I know we've done a loan deal for him, but I'm not sure if we've got a loan to purchase so that we can get him at the end of the season.
I think we have, yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we convert him at the end of the season to a permanent fixture, then I think we'll see him in. I don't know. This is Fabianski's last game. He's had one or two hiccups, but you have to look back at his great performances where he's kept us in the game. He doesn't have that much to do these days, does he? We're attacking side, so maybe I mean, Moyes is a bit cautious. He'll introduce people and give them time, but with a goalkeeper, you can't really bring him on at half time or 10 minutes to go and give him time on the pitch. So it's difficult with a goalkeeper. I don't know. I think we will see him definitely this season, whether it's a weekend or in a couple of games. I don't think it'll be too long. I think Fab's probably at his last season, just like Nobes is probably going to have. Yeah.
Yeah. West Ham Online, Areola in?
I'm not that bothered, to be honest, about who's in goal, but I would put Areola in goal. Yeah, I thought that Fabianski was quite poor against Palace, and he's let in he's saved 1 out of the 6 shots he's faced this season. You could say, okay, yeah, most of them were unsavable. But for me, still got to do better with the Gallagher one. The first goal, the punch was pathetic, let's be honest. And he just doesn't look as inspiring. And as James said, he's kicking his pants, like he's falling over as he's going to kick the ball. I think he's just on his last legs, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a prospect though. You think you've got Areola and Zuma. You know, our back five with a goalkeeper. We could have Areola, Soufal, Ogbonna, Zuma, Aaron Cresswell. That's a good back five, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, Tagliafico coming in would have been a dream. That would have made that not a perfect back five, but that would have made that a very, very good goalkeeper and defence, in my opinion. All right, questioning for you, Andy. Is Winston Reid a hero or a villain in New Zealand?
Hero, always. He's fun out. He's family. Yeah. I don't think he's done anything wrong, has he? Really?
Nah.
You know, he's approaching the end of his career, but I still think he's got a few games left in him. You know, he went to Canada. He had a few. Did we send him somewhere else? We sent him down to
Brentford.
Was it Brentford? He had a good time with Brentford, actually. You could easily see him in a championship team doing well at the back. You know, you could go to someone like Fulham. I'd like to see him get more game time. And that's for sure. You ain't going to get it with us. I don't think we're going to see him at the back. And with Zuma coming in, you know, that back four. I heard what James, what you're saying about Diop. I'd love to see Diop get more game time as well. I don't think we should let him go. But no, Winston's a hero. We love him over here.
Yeah, good servant for West Ham as well. Andy says Zuma is the missing piece we have been missing. Would like to see Oggy Zuma and Diop as a back three. Do you think we could opt for that option? Maybe. James, I'll go to you first.
It's a nice idea, but we need a left-sided player there, and they're all right-footed, I believe. I think Ogbonna. I'm not too sure if Obonna's left-footed or not, but I'm sure he's right-footed.
He is left-footed.
He's left-footed, so like it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I think if you play the three, you're taking the element of away from the attack, and that's the problem. I do like this 4-2-3-1 system because it's free flowing, and I can see us on our day. I believe we can beat anyone that four. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's how we set up. I think when we go negative, we're just not the same team, and three at the back is a negative way of thinking, in my opinion. But that's just me. Like, do you know what I mean? But I want to see Diop play. Because I like Diop. I think Diop gets a lot of criticism for really silly things when there's like, do you know what I mean? But one thing I will say, just going back to Winston Reid before you hand it over, I think he's been great for us, Winston. He's got the last goal at Upton Park. He's been here for over 10 years, or coming up to 10 years. And it's just injuries that have played him, really. And it's a shame because he's been very loyal, and he could have left us when we got relegated back in 2011. So, yeah.
Definitely. So it's more comments. Mike's in. Hope you well. Mike, see you on Saturday evening, guys. Zuma's got to start. I think most of us agree. Right then, West Ham Online. We've got perhaps an opposing and underrated opinion here from Will. Will says, "Evening all. I toy with the idea of resting Fornals for Lanzini and maybe Antonio for Vlasic. They've both been on international duty and possibly ready for Europa League if needed." West Ham Online.
No. Sorry, Will, but we can't do that. We need to keep our early form up in the Premier League, if we're honest, and dropping Fornals for Lanzini is just unthinkable at the moment for me. Fornals is playing so well, and Lanzini is just not that great in the final third anymore. Like, he's just not the guy he was. I get what you're saying, but if I'm honest, I'd rather at the moment just go all out in the Premier League game and maybe rest one or two in Europa League. Maybe. But I'd probably play them in both. I think at the moment they obviously had that massive break from the Euros to the season, so they've had a bit of a rest. I don't think we're at the stage yet where it's time to start resting players. That starts happening at around November, December when you get the massive fixture congestion. But At the moment, no.
Andy, fixture congestion. I mean, I don't know whether I've been pretty bored with no club football in the last week or so. Now, we're not going to be bored in the next 22 days. I mentioned it at the start. We play 7 games in the next 22 days, Andy. Is this going to be a headache for David Moyes, thinking, oh, are these players going to be up for, travelling to Zagreb next week and they're coming back to playing Man United? Is this going to give David Moyes a headache, do you think, and push him into making changes, which he's going to have to do?
Well, I think we've got the extra players that we need. I'd like to go to Zagreb, to be honest. Be nice to have a bit of a holiday, because we're only just coming out of the lockdown over here. So, but you're right. Fixture congestion. We've got Zagreb. We've got Menu twice, haven't we? We've got
in 3 days.
I know. Yeah. So we've got League Cup, and then Leeds away, and then Vienna at home. So those Thursday, Everton did it when they first qualified first came into Europe. They struggled with their squad. Initially you start off okay, and then you drop 1 or 2, and it starts to become a bit of a problem. But I'd like to see Lanzini come back in. Whether he stays as an attacking midfielder or he drops into that defence in that central position. The 2 that we play in front of the 4. That's why you've got the likes of Lanzini and these extra players coming in. What surprised me, though, and this is a bit controversial, is the number of under-23s that we put out on loan. Players like Conor Coventry. I was surprised. I know we brought in extra players, and so we had effectively the space there to send them out on loan. But Conor Coventry, that's our future. And we need to give him game time. So if he doesn't get it in the Premier League, he should get it in the Europa Cup fixtures. So I was a bit surprised to see those loan players go away. But no, I think David's got enough players.
Yeah, I think, Andy, to be honest with you, I think what David Moyes has done is thought, I've got enough midfielders there, but I'd rather a bit more quality there. So he's brought in Alex Crow and shipped out Conor Coventry. Do you think, Andy, that's the wrong way to look at it, and he should focus on bringing the youth up and giving them game time more than bringing a player in?
Well, it's the West Ham way, isn't it? I mean, we were the academy. We bought 2 players, Declan Rice and Ferdinand. That's what we're known for, and it surprises me that most of the Premier League managers tend to buy in slightly better players, or they think are slightly better players from overseas at the expense of our academy. And I think the likes of Conor Coventry and Jamal Baptiste has been on the he's been on the bench a few times, but he hasn't had any game time. I'd like to see him been given a bit of a spot. And you can't bring him on for was it Udebeko? Came on, they gave him 15, 20 minutes and then hooked him off again, which is a bit unfair when when you're that young and you need proper game time, you need longer on the pitch. So I'd like to see the academy feature a wee bit more. And this is the opportunity when we're playing in Europe. Who knows how far we'll go though? With West Ham, we've lost to small teams, and Astra Gugu twice, not only once but twice. So who knows how far we go?
Yeah, definitely. West Ham Online, do you think it's better in your eyes? We are the Academy of Football that says on that world-class carpet going around the London Stadium, the Academy of Football. Do you think it's right to give the academy a go more than signing players? But then again, you could argue we got to really back David Moyes, haven't we? If he thinks that player isn't good enough and he'd rather bring in a better Czech player like Alex Crow on loan, you can't really complain, can you?
Yeah, I think the sad thing, what I'm about to say, is I feel like academies in the Premier League are dying, and I think they're going to continue to die over the next decade. I think teams always look for the next best thing, whether that be overseas or if there's an academy player from Holland or something like that. I think the days of trusting in your academy is close to the end because you always wonder what's better off elsewhere. We're seeing less and less players coming in from the academy every year on, basically. We've had hardly any in the last decade. I think we've had Rice, Diangana are the only two real ones. And Diangana, to be fair, a brilliant bit of business selling him despite the outrage which came. But yeah, I think, to be honest, I would rather see Crow in there than Coventry at the moment if Moyes believes that Crow is better, because I want us to continue to build and I want us to continue to get better. And if Coventry isn't ready to do that, I think he is from what I've seen. But if Moyes believes he's not, then I can't really complain because, I want us to get better. As I say, I think we have a chance of winning Europa League. I don't think we will, obviously, but if Villarreal can do it last year, why can't we at least try?
Exactly.
And that's what we've got to aim to do. So there's no point being in it if we're not going to try and win it. And I think that's what Moyes is trying to do by bringing in players like Vlasic and Corral.
Yeah, maybe David Moyes should employ West Ham Online as his motivational speaker before the game.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Right, first of two things, James. Firstly, we've got over your first like target. We've got 22 likes. What's the next one?
40.
Woo! And secondly, which side of the boat do you sit on? Would you rather Coventry or Crow, James?
Both. I'm gutted that Coventry's gone out and no, mate. I thought pre-season was enough for me to prove that he was looking ready to rock and roll. It's an hard one with me, but I can see two teams coming out of this in the next two games. I can see a completely different team in Zagreb than I will do. I don't see Antonio playing in Zagreb. I can see Yarmolenko. I can see Lanzini playing, Krau. I can see maybe Noble playing, Areola playing, Diop, etc. I just think it's going to be a completely different lineup. And even in the cup game the following week when we got Man United in the cup, I can see a completely different lineup. It's good to have options, but I still say it, and I will say it until January. I still think we need a little bit more in the window. I think we need one more player, if not two, and we've gone with what we've got, and it's going to be interesting to see how we cope now, because obviously 7 games in 22 days, that's going to be hard on any team, especially a team like us with such a small squad.
Definitely. It's difficult. I look at it and I think, I do agree with James. I know it's sitting on the fence slightly, but I want both there. To be honest with you, I can see both sides of it, but I want both, why not? Why not? Because there's going to be opportunities for game time this season. No Diop, please. Diop will get game time this season. We haven't sold him. Diop will get game time this season, whether it's Europa League, Carabao Cup.
My thoughts on Diop, Jake.
Well, I do agree with you, but slightly not extreme as yours. Go on, say what you want to say, West Ham Online.
Well, he plays like a giraffe in roller skates. He's so clumsy.
Oh dear. And that was just the one line from West Ham Online. Kent says Oggy left-sided. Only time we should play a 3 at the back is if Arthur's playing, but Creswell offers attacking threat. Winston being at West Ham 11. Yes, yeah. A back 3. I wouldn't like to see us go to a back 3, but we've got to trust David Moyes. Sad that injuries hit Reed. Reed looked lightweight until we went down and had a great year in the Championship. Let's have a look at some more comments. I think what would have not topped it off, or would have made, for me, our transfer window go from a 7 to a high 8 would if we would have got that Tagliafico deal over the line. I'm still not convinced to this moment that was real, properly genuine rumour and link, but I would have loved that personally. Jay Woods says hopefully Oko Flex, Nevers, Ekwar and Baptiste will get game time this year. They will win the Carabao Cup, I think. What's so funny about that? We got Man United.
Yeah,
Go on.
I'd literally chuck the under 8s out for that game. I think I said it before, but
What's your obsession with calling them the under 8s? They are the under 23s.
We can't win like that game. We have them twice in 3 days, as you mentioned earlier. Honestly, if it was a game on FIFA, I'd just forfeit it.
Oh, I wouldn't forfeit. I'd chuck the kids out there. I don't think I'd put a first teamer out there personally, but you know.
Do you want to play?
Yeah, I'll get out there. Sign me up, West Ham Online. All your contacts near the club. I know that you can sign me up. Kent says if players were good enough from academy, they're being the team. Rice was good enough. He's in, and before Tompkins, Collison, really, and that was years before. Trev Tube, hope you well. I hope you are well. Good evening, gentlemen. I reckon this is. Have you got an Arsenal connection there, perhaps? Let us know. Let's have a look at some comments. To be fair, a giraffe on roller skates would be quite intimidating to come up against. Would be, to be honest. Mark says
probably Mark better than Diop, wouldn't he? A giraffe on roller skates.
Dave, you've just got them at your disposal, West Ham Online. It's just pang. There we go. Mark says, I think Moyes will make a few early changes at Southampton, and we'll see those players again on Thursday evening, possibly like Bowen and Fornals. I don't think Bowen will come off early. He didn't go off on international break, I think, and he didn't go to the Euros. So I think Bowen should be 100%, really. I think. Kent says Diop is a Rolls Royce and still a baby in centre back terms. Andy, where are you with it? With Diop, do you think this season he has the ability to break through past Angelo Bonner to be one of the first team starting centre backs?
Well, he did. I mean, Diop was there for quite a while. He was our favoured of 2 centre backs when we played 4 across the back. Diop was favoured with. Him with Balbuena, you know, they had significant part of the season. So, you know, Diop's just suffering from game time. The thing about Diop is he tends to misjudge balls in the air. Like he's a play from the back type player. He's got good feet. You know, he's got good distribution. He's your European centre back rather than your English style centre back. He's great. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we forget.
He's useless as well, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah. So I think we've still got options, and you know, with all these games coming up, I think we'll probably see Diop get back and get some game time, either in the Okie Kokie Cup or the or Europa League, whatever it'll be. I was just looking at the squad though. What happened to that centre back we got, Gonçalo? Wasn't he any good? Has he got out on loan?
Oh, he's terrible. He is awful. He had to go.
Has he gone though?
Yeah, he's just gone.
Right.
Blimey, have we got any good defenders?
Oh my God, West Ham Online. What's your severe hatred to centre backs?
Well, I was just looking at Kent's comment there that he's a Rolls. He said Diop is a Rolls Royce. He would be if it was a Rolls Royce that rolled into a ditch, because he certainly isn't a Rolls Royce. I'd say he's a Ford Fiesta. I'll give him that.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Honestly, I really can't. I've heard everyone else. Now I'm going to have my say. How can anyone criticise Diop? Right? I understand it with the balls in the air. I get it. Yeah, he's not very thingy. Like he gets a bit flustered in the air, but he was touted for a £65 million transfer to Man United in his first season. You don't just lose that overnight. Yeah, if Zuma can work with him and get the aggression in him, like to be like a rugged defender like Zuma, then he will be a Rolls Royce type of defender. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got to be pretty all the time. You just got to be effective. And no disrespect, but Dawson has been sent off last season. Newcastle
as well, yeah.
Newcastle away, and Ogbonna can't do it forever. He's 34. Yeah. He's 34 at present, and you can't just keep knocking Diop over the slightest thing. I understand it with the ball over the top. I get it, but there is other things that he does do well. He's very good at recovering, being a recovering defender, and that's why we bought Zuma, because he's a recovering defender and all. So, to me, I think Diop is a bit of a scapegoat. I think he's harshly treated. And I think he will come good, but this season will be the season where we will know whether he's going to come good or he's going to be sold next season.
Yeah,
I agree.
I do agree a bit. I am obviously joking a bit, but at the same time, I do think that his concentration levels are that of a baby in a spelling test at times. His marking is really poor. And I've said it with Zuma when he came in as well, when we were first linked with Zuma. I don't think Zuma's very good at marking either. I think he does make errors in terms of concentration. So, yeah, I'm not sure that Diop will ever hit the heights that he needs to. And although I like Zuma, I think people will start to notice that he's not the best of markers either.
Yeah. Let's have a little look at some comments. Ogbonna will be retired before Diop is better than him. Is Craig on tonight? Craig's took some abuse tonight, but the main thing is
Ogbonna will be dead. Ogbonna will be dead before Diop's better than him.
You ruined my sequence, West Ham Online. Right, we're starting this again now. We've got to start this again. Right, back to the comment. Is Craig on tonight? He's took some abuse tonight, Craig, but he's here. And he's still smiling as always. Look, there he is. There he is. Look. West Ham Online. There he is. Big Craig Dawson.
Moisey, you picked me over. You picked me over Curty again, have you, Moisey? Moisey, I get red card again, Moisey.
What on earth was that accent? Was that some sort of twisted? I don't even know. What was that?
I don't know what it was.
That's his voice when he chats up all his ladies when he's famous.
All his ladies when he sits behind his avatar on West Ham Unofficial with all of the Gemma Collins jokes. We haven't had a Gemma Collins joke for a while. Come on, West Ham Online, hit us.
Oh, you can't put me on the spot like that. I can't.
Oh, I can. Come on. You've got them all wrote down in a notepad, haven't you? You've got them all wrote down in a notepad.
I've got one.
I'll take some comments. Oh, go on.
Issa Diop is as clumsy as Gemma Collins at a fruit stall.
Dear me. Why did I ask for that? Look, even James, he's just like, what am I doing? Kent says Diop has to play on the right. He plays so much better when he plays on the right. Vlasic scored a goal two days ago. He scored he scored in the 3-0 Croatia versus Slovenia game. He did indeed. Ogbonna wasn't as good for 4 years back. Diop has the potential to be a key asset for us. Diop is a Renault. Trev Tube says the French connection will help Diop. His positional awareness needs an upgrade. I'd have him as a Volvo C60.
Can I just say what I will say to Trev? I see these sort of comments a lot when people with the same nationality come in. Zuma coming in, I know he will help him a bit, but Zuma doesn't come in and just because he can say he can speak to him a bit about baguettes and playing football a bit. It doesn't automatically turn him into the French Maldini, does it? So I think it will help him, but let's not go overboard on how much help it will give him. It could affect him negatively because it obviously will get less game time at the moment.
No, I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Oh.
Because the way I look at it is when you've got two players of a similar age, they go out together, they go out for meals together, they socialise together, you build a bond. You know what I mean? Like, how can he build a bond with Balbuena when none of them spoke English at the time and they still managed to be really good defenders? I think you got to accept Diop for what he is. He's a young defender who's a bit naive to the game. He just lacks a bit of a confidence. That's all it is. And a bit of aggression. I think if Diop was an aggressive defender, no one would criticise him. He makes silly errors, but who don't? Ogbonna's made silly errors before. And I will say this about Ogbonna. Many years ago, people wanted Ogbonna out the door. Wasn't good enough. Needed to be sold. And 2 years on, he's one of our best defenders at the club. And he's been phenomenal for us for the last 18 months, 2 years. So sometimes you just got to work. There's such a thing as working with a player and getting the best out of him. And that's what David Moyes is doing. And that's why you've got to give him credit because there's people like Cresswell who 2 years ago, two and a half years ago, wasn't good enough, got injured. Everyone wanted him gone. And now last season, he was one of the best left backs in the league. So you need to work with him, basically.
I get what you're saying, James, but it can work the other way as well. for example, when Roger Johnson came in, everyone wanted him out the door, and we were all right then.
Roger Johnson was called the relegator for a reason, because every club he went to, they got relegated. Do you know what I mean? Please don't compare Roger Johnson.
Now we're talking about ponies.
Yeah, exactly. Please don't compare Roger Johnson to Diop, please, mate. Do you know what I mean?
He gives him a run for his money, doesn't he, Diop? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. West Ham Online's trolling. Move on, Jake.
Trev Tube says in English, they will bond and communicate better.
I think I just turned into Prime Maldini. He's just spoke French to me. I think that's how it works.
Mark says, surely Diop speaks a bit of English. Surely he does. Right then, to finish off the show, we've got 5 minutes left. Andy, anything you'd like to discuss, a subject before we go?
I don't know. Looking forward to Europe. We get a computer app over here called Spark Sports, so we can watch all of the games. Great thing is we get Europa League and Champions League for free, so I'm looking forward to tuning into some of those Thursday night. Only thing is Thursday night for you is like Friday morning over here, so if I can get time at 7 in the morning on a Friday to watch the games. I'm looking forward to Europa League. Looking forward to Southampton. Those 2 games against Man U. I think that's where we start to find our place in the top 6. Are we truly top 6, or are we just an early season starter? So looking forward to those Man U games, and looking to spread some of the experience and some of the game time around all of the squad. So, yeah, looking forward to this season. This is a great season for us, to start 2 wins and a draw, to be up there with the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal right at the other end. But I think they'll get back there. Arteta's just having a change and getting rid of is undesirable. So I think we'll see them bounce back. But looking forward to the season. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. We will either be pretenders or contenders by the end of this big bout of games. I like your setup. I've got that same mishmash poster you've got just here alongside my West Ham wall. I see you've got it just there, the West Ham mishmash poster. Love it, Andy.
Yeah, I got my equivalent of the Holy Trinity. So my era would be Billy, Bobby, and Paolo. If I had the Hess, Peters, and Ward, and they'd be up there. I'm just trying to figure out where that artist puts his work out somewhere on the website, so I can get the other ones. But no, that mishmash post is pretty popular, eh?
It is, yeah. Right then, I reckon this is a West Ham Online in disguise here. Sell Diop ASAP.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, because it's you trolling West Ham Online, I reckon.
It is not me, trust me. That is not me. I can't.
I've seen that account before. I ain't West Ham Online.
No.
We will see. We will see this year. Do you know what I mean? I was right about Benny, and I'll be right about Diop this year. Once Zuma and him work together, we're going to see.
There we go.
I have a question for Andy.
Go on, quickly.
Who do you think's better, in your opinion?
Oh, God.
Fornals or Benrahma?
Oh, God.
On the left, Fornals. On the right, Benrahma. Actually, I'd rather see Benrahma play down the middle, because my ideal setup, I don't know if he's going to do it, but my ideal setup would be Fornals, Benrahma, and Bowen in behind Antonio. So yeah, they're both they're similar players. Benrahma, I think, plays its central role really well. Fornals has come on. If I had the choice between the two, I've got 15 minutes to go. I've got both of them on the bench. Who do you bring on? Probably Benrahma. I think you start with Fornals and you bring on Benrahma last 10 or 15. So I'm a Fornals fan. I thought he started a wee bit weak, but he does so much work off the ball.
James thinks he's useless.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just saying because James thinks Fornals is useless.
No, I don't think he's useless. I just don't think he gets a lot of praise for minimal things. When I look at Benrahma is good in the final third. He scores goals. He makes goals. He beats the people to get past them. He's phenomenal, Benrahma. And I called it last season. And obviously, you're new to this, Andy. And if you, as time goes on, the more you see, like of myself and West Ham Online, for instance. But when last season was about, then he was getting criticism because of it. And now I do rate Fornals to a point, but I do sometimes look at him and think there's just something there that it just doesn't do it for me. Like I like my flair players. I like my sort of wingers, and that's just my personal preference. But the pair of them have proved something this year, and they've proved a lot of people, either on the Fornals camp or the Benrahma camp, that they're both decent players, and they're both very, very good, and they're both ours. And
yeah, Fornals is the grafter. He does the simple, basic stuff. You know, he's not the flesh player. He does have a couple of moves, but you know, he grafts and grafts and grafts. Benrahma's got all the tricks. It took a while before Moyes started to play him significant game time. I think you move him around and having both of them, I think is a credit to their scout. We've got a new scout, by the way, haven't we?
Yeah,
Newman.
Finally. What I will say is I do think Vlasic could be. I hope that he can be as good as he looks, because in Croatia game the other night he did look really, really good. So I mean, if he's better than Benrahma and Fornals, then we won't be complaining, because that will just mean that we have another great player to pick from. So I hope that he is as good as he seems, basically.
Well, let me ask a question, Jake, before you wrap it up. Just quickly. You've got 5 players there. You've got Antonio, Fornals, Benrahma,
what's going there?
Bowen and Vlasic. Who drops out for you?
At the moment, Vlasic.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
So
he don't start straight away.
So when Vlasic does come in, who's he get dropped for?
It will be Bowen.
It'll be Bowen, yeah. It'll be down the right, because he plays down the right. I mean, he had, a year at Everton, didn't do too much, but then he went back to Moscow, and he's been banging them in for the last 2 seasons. So I think maybe he was a bit too young when he went to Everton. He's now, 23?
Andy, I can hear you talking. So. I can hear West Ham Online like growling at that Bowen, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's growling in the back there. Go on, West Ham Online. Take it away.
It can't be Bowen. It can't be Bowen. It can't. He's so
good.
I think, just my opinion, I think he's better than Fornals and Benrahma. I do. I think everyone's getting a bit overreactionary because he's not got a goal or an assist this season, even though he should have more assists than both Benrahma and Fornals. Like, he's created more chances. It can't be Bowen. He grafts as well, doesn't he? And he's just so good. His movement's so good. I don't think you can drop him. I think who will get dropped. I'm not going to say who I think will. God, let me spit my words out. I'm not going to say who I think should get dropped. I think Benrahma will get dropped, because we all know Moyes has a little bit of a iffy side to him regarding Benrahma. But I would judge
on that bombshell. On that bombshell, we will leave it there, because we are now handing over to West Ham Reunited and Andy. Now we have run a couple of minutes over, but you go watch West Ham Reunited. Now the West Ham content button is being handed over for the night. So go over there. Thank you very much, James, for co-hosting me for 1 hour and 18 minutes and 12 seconds.
No worries, mate. Anyone who wants to follow my stuff, follow me on J Hustle TV. It's the place to be when you ain't here. You know what I mean? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. West Ham Online, thanks for bringing your controversial opinions under your funny jokes and, of course, your knowledge.
Yeah, I'll be on J Hustle TV soon, debating hats with Mr. Fever.
And Andy, thank you very much for making your first appearance on the show and getting up quite early in the morning.
That's all right, guys. I had to get up, put the rubbish out anyway, so come on, you ones.
Come on, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here. And here he is, he's off.
Come
Andy,
on, you Spurs.
You're such a... He's been kicked out for that. He's been kicked out for that. Look, James never does the come on, you Irons. He never does it. Look, go on, James. Go on.
Listen, we've signed some players, so it's that. Give me 3 points the weekend. 3 points for the mighty Irons. Come on, let's go.
Thank you very much. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.